We're Eternals. We came here 7,000 years ago to protect humans from the Deviants.
The movie opens up with text scrolls that explain a short history of Celestials and Eternals. In the beginning, the Celestials created the sun and other forms of life. But monstrous creatures known as Deviants began to run rampant. The leader of the Prime Celestial, Arishem the Judge, brought forth an immortal group of superhumans known as the Eternals, from the planet Olympia and sent them on their ship the Domo, to Earth. The Eternals awaken with Arishem choosing a Jack to lead them. Throughout the centuries, the Eternals continue to relocate to other growing civilizations and defend them from the Deviants. Although they are barred by Arishem from interfering with human conflicts, to allow them to evolve naturally. Two Eternals, Sersi and Ikaris, would develop a close relationship over the centuries, eventually becoming a married couple. The movie goes back and forth between past and present, showing us all things the Eternals participated in history, including helping them advance their technology to the point humans made the bomb that hit Hiroshima, and the conquistadors' conquest through America. As well as all the times they protected the world from the alien monster called the Deviants, up until the 1500s as they thought they had killed the last of them. In 1521, the Spanish invasion of the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan runs concurrently with an attack from the last of the Deviants. While fighting them off, Thena's Mod Weary causes her to momentarily turn on her allies. Thena is the one that sparks them all to split by attacking the group, but she doesn't kill anyone. The Prime Eternal Ajak offers to cure Thena's affliction at the cost of her memories, but Gilgamesh volunteers to look over her, conceding with the possibility that she may have to be killed if she turns again. Druig ensues into a deep monologue about how he doesn't like standing on the sidelines, and how the Eternals have been abstaining from human affairs, while humans slaughter each other. Druig deserts them to end the Spanish conflict himself, and he takes some of the nearby fighting humans and leaves. With the Deviants seemingly eradicated, Ajak releases the Eternals to go their own ways. Gilgamesh and Thena go off and live in Australia together. Sprite and Sersi become companions during the time when Ikaris leaves Sersi. Sersi starts dating Dane Whitman and teaching at a primary school. Kingo travels the world and eventually becomes a popular Bollywood actor, even going as far as pretending to be his own descendants within a fake family so he can keep acting. Druig starts a colony in the Amazon. Phastos goes and lives his life by having a family. He has a husband and a son. Matt Carey has been living in their ship for centuries. In the present day in London, Sprite lives with Sersi as she works as a museum curator with a romantic interest in her colleague Dane Whitman. One night, Sersi, Sprite and Whitman are leaving a party when they are attacked by a deviant. They are joined by Ikaris as they fight to eradicate the beast, but they discover that it is able to heal itself. After the Deviants start attacking again, Sersi, Ikaris, and Sprite go and try to find their leader Ajak, who they find dead, attacked by a Deviant who now has her powers of healing and later becomes Crow. Ajak has an orb in her chest that allowed her to talk to the Celestial who made them. When Sersi finds the body, the orb goes into her, allowing her to speak to the Prime Celestial. The team then goes and collects Kingo while he's making a film, who is hesitant to leave his life of stardom and rejoin the Eternals. He gives in when he learns about Ajak, alongside additional encouragement from his valet Karun Patel. They use his private jet to travel most of the movie, his valet tagging along to record a documentary. They travel to Australia to collect Gilgamesh and Thena. After examining Thena's artwork she had painted during her episodes of Weary, which visualized memories of planetary destructions in the past, Sersi talks to the Celestial again using the orb. They then find out that the Celestial sent the Eternals to protect a seed that was planted inside the Earth. The seed grows into another Celestial so long as the population grows. The Celestial made Deviants to kill predators on planets, so that the intelligent population would thrive. But instead, they evolved and started hunting down everything. The Prime Celestial reveals to Sersi that Olympia does not actually exist. Instead, he had engineered the Eternals in the World Forge. The Celestial made the Eternals kill the Deviants so the population may grow. Once the seed is done growing, the emergence begins destroying the world, creating a new celestial Tiamat. After the complete destruction of said planet, which would allow for new life and galaxies to form, the Eternals' minds are then erased and they are sent onto a new planet to destroy. Together, they realize that Thena's mental affliction was the result of a botched memory wipe after a previous emergence. After learning this information, they go and try to convince Druig to help put the Celestial to sleep. There is a fight scene with the Deviants, as Crow eats Gilgamesh and then becomes more humanoid. After some convincing, Druig says he can't do it alone and needs a machine built by Phastos, to even think about potentially doing that. So they all go collect Phastos. Phastos is not convinced by the other Eternals that his husband is the one that convinced him to fight for Jack's future. They all headed to Iraq to retrieve the Domo from an archaeological site and find Matt Carey residing in the ship. As they all are imbued with infinite cosmic energy, Phastos proposes they channel their energy into Druig and form a uni-mind, so that he can take control of the Celestial and stop the emergence. But not everyone is on board with the plan, with Ikaris being the primary dissident, finally breaks after people start taking sides, calling for him to help make a decision for the team. It flashes back and shows that he was the one that fed Ajax to Crow and the other Deviants, allowing them to evolve further. He's also known for a long time about their true purpose, but when he found out Ajax didn't want to destroy planets anymore, he killed her. Ajax had decided to intervene with the emergence after she watched the Avengers bring back everyone from Thanos' snap. The Avengers bringing half the population back also sped up the emergence according to Ajax. The group then gets into a fight leading to Ikaris and Sprite leaving together. Kingo leaves too because he agrees with Ikaris but doesn't want to fight his friends. Thena convinces Cersei that what she's doing is right and that they need to save the planet. After Cersei is convinced to continue their mission to save the Earth, Phastos takes the sphere that allows Cersei to talk to the Celestials and disassembles it to construct bracelets to connect the Eternals. They then fly in their ship to the source of the emergence. On the island, Cersei, Thena, and Matt Carey lend their energy to Druig and allow him to connect with Tiamat. But Ikaris blasts Druig into a hole and destroys their ship Domo. Injured Druig is unable to complete his connection to the Celestial. They then decide that it's best for Cersei to use her powers to connect to the Celestial to kill it. While the others in the group distract Ikaris, Crow comes in and starts a fight with Thena. Crow impersonates Gilgamesh and attempts to take over Thena's mind. But she is able to resist him and kills the Deviant, and in doing so regains control of her memories. Phastos and Matt Carey are effective at holding their own against Ikaris. At one point Phastos has Ikaris trapped and unable to use any of his powers using some kind of power dampening device he made at the moment. Cersei attempts to connect the Celestial, but Sprite projects an illusion of Ajax to distract Cersei before stabbing her with a dagger. As she is constantly mocked for her childlike stature, Sprite envies Cersei for being able to live a full life among humans. Hoping that the emergence's aftermath would allow her to be reborn as a full-sized life form, Druig then comes out of nowhere and knocks out Sprite with a rock. Cersei connects to the Celestial and starts turning it into stone. Ikaris breaks free and tries to stop her. However, he is emotionally unable to bring himself to harm her. Remembering their time on Earth and the love they shared, he surrenders. Despite this, Cersei still doesn't have enough energy to kill the Celestial. However, suddenly something unites all the Eternals, including Ikaris and Sprite, into the uni-mind, attaining enough energy to allow Cersei to transform Celestial Tiamat's body into stone. Ikaris starts crying because he can't decide whether or not to continue fighting them or join them. After this is done, Ikaris flies off straight into the sun. Cersei uses what little power she has left from connecting to the Celestial to fulfill Sprite's wishes and transmutes her into a human to allow her to grow up. It doesn't state whether or not she kept her powers though. 2 weeks later in South Dakota, Thena, Matt Carey, and Druig depart for space on the Domo, which had been repaired by Phastos, in search of more Eternals, and tell them the truth. Dane professes his love for Cersei and is about to reveal a secret about his family history when she, along with Phastos and Kingo, are remotely dragged into space by Erishem. who is displeased with their treason but elects to spare humanity if the Eternal's memories show that humans are worthy of living. He vows to return for judgment before disappearing into a singularity, taking the trio with him. Mid-credit scene, the Eternals on the Domo find out about Arisham's kidnapping several days later when their allies fail to respond. Suddenly, Eros, Thanos' brother, and his troll companion Pip teleport onto the ship. Eros reveals he knows where they can find their allies. Post-credit scene, Dane Whitman opens an old chest inherited from his ancestors that contains the legendary Ebony Blade when an unseen person questions him whether he is ready for it.